Hi, my name is Vena. I'm originally from Rare, but I live in Nandi. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Bula, I'm John from Kornabuan, Tafua. I love listening to Today FM. It rocks.
Bula, I'm Teopola.
Bula, I'm Atlisi.
We love listening to Today FM because it rocks in Ba.
Bula, my name is Tisal. I've been listening to Today FM.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Indigenous livestock breeds under threat. And Iran national wants Fiji's help for asylum.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Former Fiji nationals residing in the United States of America are concerned with the recent crackdown on refugees. Last week, President Donald Trump issued an executive order banning refugees from 7 Muslim-majority countries, which has led to countrywide protests. The restriction applies to those with green cards and valid visas. Fiji is not included on the list. Maggie Boyle with the story.
It seems like that we've been treated as a second-class citizen. This is not what this country is all about. Country gives right to every ethnic people, every religion, whichever color you are. At some other airports, people with green cards, there were legal status in the United States, were being held, coming in from foreign countries, were being held at the airport. There was as of last night.
Questions sent to U.S. Ambassador to Fiji, Judith Sefkin, haven't yet been answered.
FBC News understands that a petition has now been launched calling for the impeachment of President Trump. This came only a week after he was sworn into office. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
We now join Maggie Boyle live. Maggie, I believe you have just received a response from the U.S. Embassy.
Good evening, Jackie. In the last hour, we've received a written response from the U.S. Ambassador to Fiji, Judith Sefkin. Now, she tells us that the U.S. government's national security visitor screening procedures are constantly refined. This is simply one of those times. She also goes on to clarify that the executive order imposes a 90-day stop to entry into the United States by nationals of certain designated countries. And these countries are Iraq, Syria, Sudan, Iran, Somalia, Libya, and Yemen. She also offers some assurance that the diversity visa program, otherwise known as the visa lottery, remains in effect for Fiji and other Pacific Island countries. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that update, Maggie. A shocking revelation tonight as local authorities claim climate change could possibly wipe out indigenous livestock breeds in the near future. With an all-out effort being made to protect these local breeds, the Agriculture Ministry, together with relevant partners, are engaging in a project to help these breeds become resilient to climate change. Sanyani Boyla tells us more.
The Agriculture Ministry, the Pacific Community and donor partner Food and Agriculture Organization are trying to conserve indigenous animal genetic resources for future food security.
These conservation efforts will develop indigenous genetic material that have evolved and adapted to changing environmental conditions for use by local communities, both for food security and for income generation. Indigenous breeds are at risk of being lost through the impact of climate change and disease epidemics.
SPC's Animal Production Extension Officer, Andrew Tukana, says livestock breed in the South Pacific are unique due to the Pacific's geographic isolation, so there is a need to protect these breeds.
Climate change is affecting our animal genetic resources. So with climate change, there's a loss of habitat, and our native species of livestock and animals are becoming, becoming extinct now. So we need to conserve them.
The Agriculture Ministry is currently working with partners to help minimize the adverse effect on livestock production system. Similar projects are also underway in 6 other Pacific Island countries. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
A 21-year-old Iranian man is seeking asylum in Fiji after fleeing Manus Island in northern Papua New Guinea. Logman Sawari says he had sought asylum in Australia in 2013, but claims he was sent to Manus Island by force, where he was severely mistreated for 3 years. We now join Ellen live from Namaka. Ellen, what else can you tell us?
I've been in contact with the young Iranian man. In one of our conversations earlier today, He said and told me that he feels safer here than when he was in Papua New Guinea. He also said that all he wants is to be treated with dignity and respect. Logman Sawari refused an on-camera interview, preferring instead into the country a week ago. He has now sought legal counsel from lawyer Aman Ravindra Singh, who, when contacted this morning, confirmed he will represent Sawari. The lawyer says he does not want to reveal more in order to protect his client. Fiji Human Rights and Anti-Discrimination Commission Director Ashwin Raj says he is very keen to meet up with Sawari to see how the Commission can assist him.
We take cognizance of the fact that he would have gone through enormous amount of trauma. So he would need counseling, would perhaps need the help of a psychologist, would possibly need legal assistance. So we want to be able to be of assistance to him. And to also ensure that he enjoys, the same amount of human dignity that anybody else should enjoy, and the idea of whether one is a citizen or not should not matter.
Raj says the outcome of this case will set a precedent for other asylum seekers who wish to come to our shores. He also adds that each case going forward should be dealt with on a merit or demerit basis. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
Fiji has outlined its leadership priorities ahead of its presidency of COP23, the UN negotiations on climate change. This on day one of a three-day meeting between Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama and a delegation from the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, led by its Executive Secretary Patricia Espinosa. At the meeting, Fiji updated the UNFCCC on its preparatory work to meet the duties and responsibilities leading up the COP presidency and its agenda for the upcoming negotiations. Bainimarama identified climate adaptation finance, effective monitoring of adherence through the rulebook to the Paris Agreement, and the objectives of the Climate Action Agenda as key issue areas for the Fijian presidency. The Australian government is ready to help Fiji in any way in its preparation to COP23 at the end of the year. Australia's ambassador for the environment, Patrick Suckling, said that he has had discussions with government ministers and stakeholders this morning to talk about how they can cooperate together more on climate change.
Whatever the Fijian government thinks is most useful, so we don't want to be prescriptive about the support. Whatever the Fijian government thinks we could best do to support the presidency, and it might be a little, it might be a lot, we don't know at this stage.
Still ahead, rapists found guilty to be sentenced tomorrow. And new USP students start orientation week for 2017.
मेरा नाम कमल रोशनी है। हम लोगों में रहते हैं और मिर्ची एफएम सबसे बेस्ट स्टेशन है।
हमारा नाम मेसी है, हम गोल्ड टाउन ताबुआ में रहता है और मिर्ची इज हॉट इन ताबुआ।
Hi, we Bagels. We love Mirchi FM because it's hot.
निवेश ताबुआ में रहता हूँ, सुनता है यहाँ मिर्ची एफएम is very hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
With the third week of school year well underway, the Education Ministry is reminding schools to adhere to the Ministry's food and school canteen policy. The policy prohibits the sale of certain food items to ensure children have access to healthy food products. Roland Karoy reports.
The food and school canteen policy was effected in September last year with one objective: to promote healthy eating practices, healthy living and the general well-being and safety of students.
Our heads of schools, head teacher and principals are required to ensure that the policy, the school, canteen and boarding health policy is adhered to.
The high incidences of NCDs with the youngest victim aged 12 has prompted the Education and Health Ministries to work hand in hand to push this policy.
We believe that is very important because our children spend a lot of time in school and what they eat during that time is also very important. So from now on, school canteens, together with the Ministry of Education, will be strictly being monitored.
Having a policy that ensures children do not have access to the so-called junk food while in school is all well and good. But how do European parents to recognize and support the policy?
We are getting a one-page flyer, both sides, on the key aspects of that.
and we will give it out to each glossy one, each child to take it home to inform their parents.
The Education Ministry warns that any canteen operators found to be breaching the policy will be warned first, and any repetitions after will see their contracts terminated. Roland Karoy, FBC News.
The Suva High Court has found former police officer Michael Shalendra Pratap guilty of raping a 14-year-old girl. The incident took place in Suva last year. Shireen Shivan files this report.
42-year-old Michael Shalendra Pratap was convicted of 3 counts of rape and 1 count of sexual assault. The High Court Justice overturned the assessor's opinion of not guilty to the sexual assault charge and convicted him of that as well. In his sentencing submission, the defense lawyer requested concurrent sentences, saying Pratap's family will go through economic difficulties since he is the major income earner paying for the house. The prosecutor meanwhile told the court that Pratap should be given a harsh sentence, which sends the clear message to the public that rape should not be taken lightly. The prosecution also said that as a police officer, it was Pratap's duty to protect the citizens of Fiji. However, he failed to do so. Pratap will be sentenced tomorrow. Sharin Shivan, FBC News.
Senior officials of the Fiji Times and a letter writer to the Daily reappeared in the Suva High Court this morning. Publisher Hank Arts, editor-in-chief Fred Wesley, Nailalakai editor Anare Ravula and Shosai Wangambada are charged with 1 count of inciting communal antagonism in relation to an article published in the Nailalakai last year. The matter this morning was for the filing of more documents by Wangambada's lawyer Aman Ravindra Singh. Judge Justice Tushara Rajasiga says Ravindra Singh has failed to submit the particular documents despite being given 3 chances to do so. Ravindra Singh has been given a deadline till next Tuesday. Today officially marks the beginning of another academic year for thousands of new students at the University of the South Pacific. The 2017 Orientation Week was officially launched by Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy this morning. Pranita Prakash reports.
These students have entered the tertiary institution with new dreams and ambitions, and today marks the start of a new journey.
The reason why I chose HP because it has a good facilities and has a good education background. Like many well-known people graduate from HP. Yeah.
Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy hopes that the quality of programs offered is not compromised by increasing competition.
Students are presented with a choice in the universities or the products. Producers are now embarking on a new and varied propositions to get them. I do hope the universities will not race to the bottom and compromise quality with competition. I do hope that they will differentiate the product and ensure that the product quality becomes the leading factor to attract students.
USP also caters to students with disabilities, and Leslie Tikotikada, who is pursuing his education at USP, had a special message for the new students.
You are here for a reason to see the better you in your future, where you live in your dreams. Know what your purpose in life is and run towards it. Don't let feelings of disappointments and grades stop you as you grow with us.
More than 6,000 new students have enrolled at USP from throughout the region. However, this is not a final figure as enrollment and registration of students continues. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Rachel now joins us for the latest in the world of business.
Good evening. Coming up in business, new $8 million mall for Nambour. And later on in growing Fiji, Sava gets new piggery.
And later on in sports with Jamie, we have all the Sevens action from Wellington. Stay with us.
Na yavangunga andi moala rarava ranalika o tikongon na tao na singatoka ando talitaka na wakaronga ng Bull FM number 2 na sere.
Ya dora subuni kurnambili. Ibora ni batu karaham para binaranga. Do talitakina na wakaronga ng Bull FM number 2 na sere. Bula.
Bula FM number 2 na sere.
People living in and around Nambour outside Suva will soon have access to a modern shopping complex. The $8 million Charanjit Singh Mall nearing completion is going to be a shot in the arm for the Nambua economy as more jobs are created. Pranita Prakash reports.
The new mall, once complete, will house a supermarket, retail shops and an Australian coffee shop. It will also have 150 car parking space. The ground floor, which comprises of 15 shops, is expected to open up in the next few months.
We are looking at giving the tenants that the access into that now, and they can start doing their setting up. We're looking at them to open by 1st of April. And then we have the other second floor, which is the supermarket level and food court level.
The triple-story mall, once completed, will open up more job opportunities.
If you see 15 tenants down below, we should have an average of about 3 to 4 staffs. So you're looking at 60 new jobs on the ground floor. Our supermarket is going to be having around 75 to 80 staffs. So that's 140.
It's good for Nambua. More jobs will be created.
Very happy about the mall. Fiji is getting developed.
Plenty people will be taking job over here.
This mall is expected to be fully operational by July. Charanjit Singh's next biggest project is in Nakasi, where he will be opening up his third supermarket. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
And now Elisa Petty from HFC Bank tells us about a major bond issue that will benefit our nation.
Yes, the Reserve Bank of Fiji will be issuing a Fijian infrastructure bond with $20 million on the 8th of February on behalf of government. The funds raised through this bond will be used for infrastructure projects announced in the 2016-17 national budget. Over the month of December, liquidity fell by 2% to $412.3 million. As of the 27th of January, liquidity is around $403.8 million. RBF has projected the 2017 year-end inflation rate to be around 2.5%, down from 3.9% at the end of 2016. Inflation could be higher than predicted if food and oil prices rise or if adverse weather conditions affect the supply of fruit and vegetables.
Let's take a look at today's exchange rates. Both the Chinese yuan and the US dollar were active. The yuan rose by 41 points to close at $3.26, while the dollar went up by 6 points, closing in at 47 cents. The Australian dollar fell 17 points, closing in at 62 cents, while the New Zealand dollar dropped to 24 points to close at 64 cents. Onto the commodities market. Oil continues its downwards trend to close at $55.28 a barrel. That's down by 90 cents. Gold is also down by $4.85, closing in at $1,184 an ounce. And silver was also down by 26 cents an ounce to close at $17.12. Another sign of a growing economy in the north as a new piggery shed to cater for the growing demands for pig has been set up for the Montfort Technical Institute in Savasavu. It's hoped the new purpose multi-shed will address the increasing demands for pig from the northern farmers. Eleanor Thurangivu reports.
Montfort Technical Institute is the sole supplier of pigs to existing and new farms in the Northern Division. This new $28,000 shed for the Institute's pig multiplication farm is expected to cater for the growing demand for pigs.
I thank Brother Jimmy and Boy Scout for partnering with the Ministry of Agriculture in looking after the stock, the genetics, the breeding materials for our piggery farmers in Goroneo.
With a little over $16,000 provided by government, the project will see genetically improved pigs supplied to farmers.
Every afternoon we are having boys who are working with the pigs. So it's for the food security because farmers just take it from here. So we want them to access the good breeds that we have. So at least they can have a productive farm.
There are currently 110 boarding students at Montfort, and the Institute feels it is the best place to enhance their knowledge on pig production, something they can practice when they return to their villages.
I wish to encourage you when you leave this institute, please continue to be interested and continue to be involved in agriculture.
The Institute's crop and livestock farm is spread over 100 acres of land at Balanga Bay in Sabu-Sabu. Eleanor Turangeview, FBC News.
That's it from the business desk tonight. Jamie's up next with the latest in sports.
Thanks, Rachel, and good evening. Up ahead, new stadium for Vunisea Kandavu scheduled to open this year. These stories and more after the break.
Hola, we from Latoka. We love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Hola, my name is Kanto. I'm from Ba. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Mula Fiji, my name is Florence Ratu. I'm from Corner Number 1 in Tavua, and I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits every day and all day.
Hi, my name is Anna, and I'm from the soccer crazy town of Ba. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
3 Vodafone Fiji Sevens players will miss games at the Sydney tournament this weekend. 2 of them have been suspended because of disciplinary issues and 1 due to injury. Vaishnav Prasad with the details.
The Mani Nagusa is currently serving a charge of hands near a face, and the other one who's serving a ban for dangerous tackle is Seta. And the COC, as I said, will return to Fiji, being in good form recently. Certainly in this tournament, conceding yellow cards, so discipline will be an issue, but also holding on to the ball when we're under pressure as well.
That'd be cool. It would be a good family gathering for all of us to sit around and cheer for our own team.
By looking at their performance in Wellington last weekend, I know they will improve themselves before the Sydney Sevens.
Fiji did great in Wellington, and I hope our boys will better themselves this weekend.
And we join Vaishnil live now with more on this story. Vaishnil, with Mbitiniata unable to feature in Fiji's pool games in Sydney and Nangusa set to miss the first match, what are some possible changes we may see in Gareth Baber's team this weekend?
Thank you, Jamie. It's most likely Setereki Bitiniata will be dropped from the 13-man team. Nemani Nangusa is likely to retain his position after serving 1-match suspension in Sydney. Well, it will be a window of opportunity for speedster and newcomer Nathanili Nabalamba, who is expected to be drafted into the 13-man team along with Emosi Mulevoro, who will be joining the side as a replacement after Menonina Silasila has been ruled out due to injury. So it all will be decided on Friday when Gareth Baber finalizes his team for Sydney Sevens. Jamie.
Thank you, Vaishnil. Now, South Africa has stamped its mark early as main title contenders for this year's World 7 Series. Out of the maximum 66 points on offer in the first 3 tournaments, the South Africans have grabbed 63, losing only 1 match in 3 tournaments. Meanwhile, after finishing second in Wellington, Fiji is top-seeded in Pool B for this weekend's Sydney Sevens alongside France, Wales and Samoa. South Africa leads England, Kenya and Japan in Pool A. Pool C has Scotland, New Zealand, Australia and Papua New Guinea, while Canada is joined by Argentina, USA and Russia in Pool D. Kandavo Islanders are set to enjoy a newly built stadium in Vunisea once it's completed at the year's end. Youth and Sports Minister Laisine Tuitumbo says Phase 1 of the construction, costing $683,000, is in progress and is expected to be completed by the end of next month. The stadium will include running tracks, embankments, ticket booths, and netball and volleyball courts.
Phase 2 it will be 250,000. That's the embankment and the hard casing or the concreting of some of the area of the stadium.
Our play of the day comes by way of none other than Fijian football captain Roy Krishna as he continues with his fine form in the A-League competition. That's it from sports this evening. After the break, find out the new phrase that's taking over the internet and confusing lots of old folks. And in the world of the weird and wonderful, the most cutest duet you may ever see. That's coming up.
Well, TV Rokuta, may konokulan rasa lutoka, dua talita kana porong na radio Refugee.
Ula na rango fina may korviri nandi, auto talita kana porong na radio Refugee na programa ni mas masu na mataklailai.
Oya ochone kurinambila mai bunangoro na makete hinga toka kwe do talita kini na porong na radio Refugee gene na domo ibiti.
Na radio Refugee na domo ibiti na bonga ni bienen.
Cash Me Outside, how about that, has been trending all over social media. Of course, it's left many of us confused as to what it means. And to start a new week, we have Angie with the latest in weather.
Good evening and welcome to the Weather World. Hope you had a fabulous weekend, cause reality check, it's another work week. But it was not all Monday blues. It was generally sunny today with cool winds and temperatures remained calm. Perfect day for the weekend laundry. Now let's check out what it was like in the west. Temps got up to 33 degrees. It certainly wasn't as cool as other parts of Fiji. Eastwards from Peghaba to Suva, a gorgeous day with sunshine and brisk winds. And in the beautiful north, Lambasa was at 31, while Savu Savu topped at 30 with light rain. For tomorrow, a slight change with some scattered showers in most parts of the country, so be sure to keep the brollies handy. Further ahead on to Wednesday, a bigger band of rain is the forecast for whole of Fiji. Out at sea, southeast winds 15 to 20 knots with moderate to rough seas. And especially for you mariners, the next high tide is at 8:15 p.m. tonight with a low tide tomorrow morning at 2:41 a.m. And that's the weather thing for today, Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. On Fijian Pulse today, we asked the people, what do you think of Fiji's performance at the Wellington Sevens?
They managed to score a few tries, just one try. But I think they'll do better for the next game.
They played a good game, and I really liked their game.
Fiji did very well, and Fiji can do more better in next game.
Fiji played well. It's a good team, but they lack the discipline, the part.
I think so. The boys were doing well.
It is good, but I think they need some more improvement.
Recapping the main stories, former Fiji nationals in the United States of America worried, indigenous livestock breeds under threat, and Iran national wants Fiji's help for asylum. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Now to the results of last week's poll question, and we had asked, can Fiji win the 2017 Wellington Sevens? 64% answered yes. This week we are asking, is the Education Ministry correct in banning junk food from schools? To answer, visit our FBC website. Before we go, here's how the day begins in Laucala Bay, Suva. This picture sent in by Michael Chand, a breathtaking display of radiant colours, bright streaks of orange and pink as the sun rises over the capital. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, you can follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight from the team and I. Good night.
बत्तीरी सिंह टोका के आसफ अली बात करता है और रेडियो Fiji 2 हमें बहुत पसंद है और रेडियो Fiji 2 के अलाउंसर लोग जितना है बहुत अच्छे लोग हैं, बहुत लाइक करता है रेडियो Fiji 2।
हमारा नाम रमीता है, हम नेडी से है, हमें रेडियो Fiji 2 पे पुराने गाने अच्छे लगते हैं।
हमारा नाम सोनू है, बा मार्केट टैक्सी ड्राइवर, रेडियो Fiji 2 सब टाइम सुनता है।
रेडियो Fiji 2 देश की धड़कन।